People want to interact with faces, with characters, and the brand can be a character. It is an entity of itself. It is a life, a corporation, and at best you have some soul in it. So, welcome to the third part of the trilogy about branding. Today we are focusing specifically on marketing and your personal logo creation. I want to start this love letter with an analogy of my approach of creating a logo, basically. So it may seem a little distant in the beginning, but I trust you will understand what I'm going into here. So imagine you're navigating through an unfamiliar forest, and all you have as an equipment is a compass and a map. In this journey, the compass represents your short-term strategies, quick, immediate directions that keep you moving, and the map, on the other hand, symbolizes your long-term strategies, providing a perspective on the terrain ahead, guiding to your ultimate destination. Just as a successful expedition requires both a compass for immediate decisions and a map for overarching guidance, so does the art of marketing demand a delicate balance, so a dichotomy going on between short-term gains and long-term vision, because you can literally translate this to most aspects in life. There's a short-term solution to things and there's a long-term strategy to things, and ideally you would apply both strategies because they're both necessary in their own regards, and I will explain to you now why. As an example, also, you can translate this into logo creation itself. A logo is the face of the brand. It's the first thing people see, and often it's what they remember. A logo touches on every aspect of your brand and what it represents. And the last episode, we talked about how deep it really goes. And in this episode, we will go deep. So your company's values, its mission, and its vision for the future, it's a shorthand, everything that your brand actually stays for. It's the seed form of that. A logo is the planting seed of everything your whole plant or brand is becoming. So signs and symbols rule the world, not words nor laws. This is a quote from Confucius. And we know this through psychoanalysis. Your dream world is made out of picture. The subconscious works with pictures and symbols. Symbols are more universal than language itself. And we know that if you have a driver's license, you can theoretically drive anywhere in the world because you understand the signs. Whereas language has to be learned one by one. Symbols are a more universal language in which our understanding is rooted deep within our subconscious. And we share the same understandings about certain symbols, what they mean. So as we talked about color psychology, red is mostly a warning sign, because if you see red in nature, it usually meant danger. If you see blood, or that's why certain plants are also red, and also blood signifies fertility. It's a very carnal color. So according to Carl Gustav Jung, the psychoanalyst, a symbol does not represent something acquired from the personal context, but is an emotion-colored message from the collective unconscious. So it's a collective field that we share and understand together. And now I come to my point. Within logo creation, there's the same dichotomy going on. As a designer who has been deeply interested in the works of psychoanalysis and how the subconscious works, I've observed that good logos touch something deeper than just surface level, oh, that looks good. It really goes beyond. A good logo resonates within the archetypal makeup of an individual or collective. It triggers an emotion-colored message from the collective unconscious, as Jung described. Something has been dreamed about, was set in stone. The symbol has been lingering in people's minds for ages, and you, boom, channeled it and manifested it into reality. And the collective agrees that this is what it represents. So if you want to really hit the bullseye with logos, you really have to go deep. And the good thing is, though, you can reverse engineer this process. And this is what I did with my logo. If you think about companies that have been there for a long time, like Facebook, and then you take the logo of Facebook, which you know is within the subconscious of the people because it's been there already, and you reverse engineer this process. You take the aesthetics of it and you just create something similar, and that's how it gets stuck, in people's minds. I leveraged the hell out of this opportunity and created my own personal brand logo that reminds people of the Facebook logo. Of course, with some more elements and some more personalized nuances, but the base style and ratios is the same. So my logo is an interesting case here. I will just blend it in. I wanted to brand my legacy, and I will use this as an example so you can do it too. It is a good example of how semantics and symbolism can shape your brand. My logo consists of certain elements like the heart. There's a heart here because I pour heart into things, and that's what my newsletter, the love letters, is also about. Then there's a double T, if you haven't noticed. This double T stands for my initials Tarkan Turan, TT, which might be overlooked, but it is overturned. It is upside down, the second T. And that creates the logo of Saturn. Saturn symbol is incorporated within the double T, where the second is upside down, as I said. Saturn is representative of work ethic, the challenges and hardships of life. It represents the number 8 or infinity, and that is my life path number. So the top cross, which is symbolic of the culmination of matter, as well as the function of an intense focus. The second component of the Saturn icon is a crescent, an element which signifies receptivity and spirit. The cross over the crescent says matter over mind. The other way around with Jupiter's symbol, crescent over cross, is mind over matter. So these are two principles that govern the reality that we live in. That is, both are true. Mind over matter, matter over mind, So this is a very interesting dichotomy between these both planets, symbologically and alchemically speaking. And then the heart is placed on the T-cross. That's a design gimmick because it's actually just the same form, just bigger. Then the heart points to the top right with its peak. This is resonant of the symbol of Mars, which points to the right top as well. The symbol of Mars is often linked to the shield and the spear of the Roman god of war. Mars is also equivalent to the Greek god Ares. This symbol represents both the planet Mars and the male gender in astrology and alchemy. And what I want to say with this is, if you want to be a good logo creator, you have to be good with symbols. You have to know the symbols and at their root meaning. And one of the most old symbols are the alchemical symbols. So you know the base form of everything. This symbolism is deeply tied to my personality, purpose, and journey. And now we come back to the two-way street of doing things, the dichotomy which we talked about. You can either design a logo with the depth that I just described to you, or the short-term solution of let's make something shiny and hip. So you get my point here, right? So watch the steps. The allure of short-term gains versus the commitment to a long-term vision. And now we switch to marketing. The temptation to prioritize immediate results over long-term success can lead businesses astray, leaving their brand's value potential unfulfilled as fuck. The risk of a one-sided strategy is clear. Focusing solely on short-term tactics can lead to a volatile brand reputation, where trust is as fleeting as the trends that carry it. On the other hand, an overly rigid long-term strategy without the flexibility to adapt to market changes can lead to a brand feeling outdated and literally creating no revenue. The question is now, how do we avoid falling into the same trap here? How do we make sure that our brand not only captures attention, but retains it, grows it, and rebuilds it and builds it with legacy? Well, we spoke about abiding to the guidelines in our last love letter, creating a brand guideline within minutes. And here we will go about marketing our brand with balance and strategy. So, as we talked about, there's two-way street of doing things, and there's also two-way street of marketing your brand. The principle that most Western brands have understood, but the Eastern world has yet to figure out, is that long-term brand building and reputation is an art form that has an immense ROI, so in return of investment. People want to interact with faces, with characters, and the brand can be a character. It is an entity of itself. It is a life, a corporation, and at best you have some soul in it. And by using paid advertisement to get quick revenue in, you are partly at the cost of sacrificing trust within your potential audience, because nobody wants to get sold something, actually. Paid advertising has huge amounts of benefits. You invest money into it and it gives money back in terms of direct revenue, which is necessary. So there are two ways of doing the marketing and sales, which represent polar opposite strategies here. They're both still usable at the same time, which I would also recommend doing. There's short-term revenue-driven marketing, which consists of attention marketing, aggressive sales techniques, promotional offers, and advertising campaigns designed to capture quick wins and boost sales figures quickly. And then there's legacy-focused, value-providing long-term brand building. In contrast, this strategy is the marathon runner of marketing. It's about creating a lasting legacy and deep-rooted value for the brand over time. This approach involves creating a strong brand identity which is recognizable and stringent across all platforms, establishing trust and credibility within your audience, and you get that through providing consistent value through quality content, products, and services. So it's word of mouth, it's goodwill marketing. The goal here is not just to make a sale, but to build a community of loyal customers and advocates for the brand. People trust you because you have been providing value for a long time. So this method may take longer to show financial returns, but it lays the foundation for good reputation, sustainable growth, and enduring success, because in the end, if you have a good reputation, if you have been providing value on a consistent basis, you don't need paid advertisement, but that takes a long time. So how do you do this? First thing you can do is establishing your presence with a newsletter, blog, or personal website. The thing that I'm doing right now, I'm talking to you, providing value while sharing the learnings that I'm digesting along the journey. I'm not saying I'm an expert. This is a win-win because in perspective, you don't pay a thing to watch this or read this. I get to order my thoughts and journal and systemize my content. Could also be used to create a product because it is already written. I have my content in place. Plus, we establish a relationship of trust where I provided value over a long period of time where you think, oh, now this guy has a product. He has given me so much already. Now I have to give something back. And that is called goodwill marketing. So you do that as a lead magnet with a high content value offer. Like, here's your free ebook and I get your email in return. I'm then publishing these episodes also on my website for everyone who visits my page to see that I provide value on a constant basis. And you can see it in the link below. I will publish my website there. This is the general shift into the creator economy in a nutshell. Sleazy, slimy, and pitchy sales techniques are not the thing anymore, as we talked in the first episode. They will still be used, and don't get me wrong, learning the basics of sales is 100% so important. Some psychological rules are applicable forever, but creating trust is more important than ever. What you can also do is showcasing your work through portfolio marketing. Sharing your work on platforms like Behance, Upwork, or Dribbble is for displaying what you've created. It's a smart strategy for getting your name and skills out there. These sites are where potential clients and collaborators hang out, looking for talent just like yours. By consistently posting your projects, you're not only building a portfolio, but also demonstrate your expertise and style. It's direct marketing to those who value design and are willing to pay for quality. Think of it as your digital showroom. The more you show, the more you're likely to catch the right eyes. And I wish I have done that, but I'm not too much into showcasing my portfolio outside of the world. But I've seen some amazing examples and how much opportunities this brings to you actually. So then generally speaking, there's also short form content and long form content. Long form content is usually content that is longer than 5 minutes. Many say that long form content is dead because the attention span of people are getting shorter and shorter. And you can see that through, TikTok, Instagram, stuff like that. What I've heard is that you get to decide which kind of audience you attract. And I'm doing long form content because I want to have an audience that has longer attention span than just 2 minutes. What I also heard from the best of the best is that long form copy will never die. Of course, people will not read the whole newsletter if you write one, usually. But the more you write, the more overall surface area for potential interaction there is. So people skip through maybe. The more you write, the more possibility there is to catch something there and to hook the reader in. And of course, that copywriting should not be a bunch of nonsense. Every word should be placed intentionally, especially on a landing page. But back to the topic, long form content is king. You can hierarchically structure your content strategy in a top-down approach so you don't have to do anything twice. You can make short form content out of your long form content. Long form content is important to establish trust and authority within the space you're creating in. It shows that you know about the stuff that you're talking about and that people tend to trust your advice. And it also draws back to the principle of goodwill marketing, where you provide value on a constant basis to build a legacy. People will be more ready to buy things from you because of the ratio at which you are trying to sell versus when you provide value for free is way more trustworthy. So if I publish 5 videos where I just talk about the things that I've learned and then promote my product in the 6th video, you're gonna be much more trusting towards me, as in compared to if I would just do advertisement altogether, you know. And as I said, you then feel like you owe me because because it is a steal basically. But many people stick to short form content solely, and I'm not here to condemn that. It's all about personal preferences and lifestyle design choices. And of course, also having the right systems in place. The 2-hour writer course by Dan Koh helped me immensely with that. So then there's short form content, which is more for reach and growth, while long form content was more for trust and authority. Utilizing short form content on platforms like Instagram and Twitter for engagement and brand visibility is key. How do you get people to draw their eyes on your long form content or platforms? You would appreciate a growth strategy. The short form content platform acts as a top of funnel. They draw people into your content with little breadcrumbs. And if they get to decide to like you and maybe even work with you, they can, because you are making it easy for them. I have been diving into the structures of sales funnels, and I can't say enough how much sense these make. You can make it easy for the customer to work with you on many different layers of the onion. That is a good user experience in its core. Another thing is also the feedback loop, because it is the revolution that happened in regards to feedback loops through the creator economy. Back then, writers and authors had to write for years, release their book, and then probably have to wait for years again before some feedback data is gathered. This is not the case anymore. The internet is a good testing field for content because the feedback loop is so short. And once you get the hang of it, it will stick. But I imagine it like muscle memory. It takes years to develop the muscle mass, but it's easier to maintain it once you get the hook. Now, you got the general gist here on how to approach your marketing strategy. I hope I could gain you some insights and help you out which way is best suited for you. Of course, marketing is way more than just that. Still in this episode, I hope I gave you a good general overview of the 2 main roads to take in today's digital world, where brands and brand identity is more important than ever. You have to choose which is best for you. Thank you very much.